Yeah, so I'll work with people if there's three upsides for me. And same thing with vending. So basically if I find this deal, I want three options to make money. Okay. Number one, we buy it and then we do the deal together. I'm part of that equity stack. Number two, we buy it and then we flip that or you don't even have to really buy it. You just get it under contract and flip that contract to somebody else. Right. Or number three, you buy it and then flip it to somebody else, right? So I guess one and two are kind of like mixed together.
Well, I was
But
gonna
I
say
want that.
two is essentially wholesaling, where like you get under contract, you never put a dollar down, and then you sell that contract. Three
Mhm.
is you physically purchase the entire property. What's that called? There's a term for that. Um, I want to say whole.
I don't know. I haven't done it yet, so I guess I'm like just speaking out there. But like those are I want that flexibility to happen if we're gonna do something. If I'm cold calling for you, I don't just want like, hey, here's a finder's fee. Like, like there needs to be more optionality there. Otherwise, I don't think it's worth my time. And so that's what I do in real estate. And my buddy out there, Ben, those are kind of like how we work together.
Have you considered buying out the warehouse that you currently rent?
Yeah, good question. So a church owns it, and so that's tough.
How does a
Because
church end up with a warehouse?
they got a lot of money, dude. Yeah, I no, but also like I'm in San Diego, so I mean this stuff is pretty pricey. I mean, I don't know what this would go for, but I mean, not definitely not under two, maybe three, maybe five, honestly.
For what it's worth, the technical term for what I was just describing earlier is just wholetailing. Is a term. Basically, what it means, you buy it, you fix it up real quick, and with the immediate goal to flip. Not like I think traditionally in real estate, like a buy, fix, and flip can be done
Yeah,
over like a 6 to 12 month time frame. I think in wholetailing, the concept is we're gonna buy it, we're gonna go and put our money down, and then like literally day one, we do like these three things just to make it look pretty and like
yeah,
immediately put it back on the market. Supposedly the
yes.
time frame is what differentiates it from just the
Where,
fix and flips.
where this is stemming from is like in vending. Okay, so um, there's three options of vending that I could do. So I can find a location for somebody, not put a vending machine there, and sell the location just straight up, right? The other option is for me to put a vending machine there, and realize the revenue. And if it's a little bit too, let's say it's $500 a month, I could sell that off for 12 months gross, so 6,000. And the third option is for me to like hold the business, right? Put my machine there and operate the business. So those are the three upsides that I look for in vending. And so I just am converting that over to real estate. I think that's where it's coming from, basically.
On that note, a side question on the vending part. Um, at what point can you kind of have a big enough vending route or machines where you have enough scale to kind of sell the business as equity as a multiple of revenue type of thing?
Yeah, it's a good question. I really don't know. I think that's one of the downsides in vending is there's not a lot of multiples on these businesses. So I mean, yeah, the cash flow is awesome, but the multiples are pretty weak. I don't know why that is, but I think has to do with like banks and stuff like that. Um, I guess we'll figure out that answer once I actually do it. But from what I've seen in the marketplace and the people that I've talked to, they're generally just trading at 12 months gross. So if it does $1 million, sell it for $1 million.
When you were talking about before about like basically acquiring off market businesses, repackaging them, and then like bring them on market, like it's the interesting part there is that technically it's not a crazy value add play, right? The value add is you finding it in the first place, and that's where like
Yep.
your cold calling and outreach and all that kind of stuff becomes super valuable. With the exception of maybe just the real estate stuff that it sounds like y'all are doing today, are there specific niches or types of businesses that you think you've either seen other people do this with, not just single family residentials or like industrial space or things like that?
Yeah. So again, I mean, you learn so much stuff by just literally doing. And vending is probably most people think it's dumb as hell. That's okay. I think it's dumb as hell too. But you learn a lot, right? And number one, you learn a lot without having like a ton of capital required. And so I've noticed that there is a massive demand for locations and those businesses. Okay, so I just took that a little bit further and I started looking at like bigger deals, right? forget the $500 a month one. Like, how about the $80,000 a year one, right? And what I've noticed was there's massive demand for businesses, and all you really need to do is be able to cold call these places, and essentially just I think it's better to buy them, because when you try and do this like broker strategy, these people are it's kind of tough to work with. So let's just say I find a laundromat for $200,000, right? I think it's better just to buy that laundromat, and then you don't need to do anything. You just put it on Biz Buy Sell, or a place where you sell it, and sell it for 300 grand. That's it. Like it's honestly insane.